Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Ese Tungwateni. I'm from CPGS. Today, we're hosting a session on database and off-campus access to the library. We're lucky to have Thandiwe Menze, the Principal Librarian for Faculty Liaison Services, Commerce, Pharmacy, and Science with us today. This interactive workshop will explore how the library serves as a gateway to a world of high-quality research resources. The session will cover effective research strategies, how to access specialized database, utilize digital tools, and engage with library programs that support scholarly success at Rhodes University. By the end of this session, you will walk away with practical knowledge on optimizing library services for your research, learning, and professional development. Before I hand over to Ms. Menze, I'd like to remind everyone to keep their mics and cameras off during this session. Thank you, and over to you, Ms. Thandiwe.
Good afternoon, SA2. Thank you for having me. I will dive into the session. I have prepared a PowerPoint, but I'm not going to bore you with the PowerPoint. It's just going to give you a brief outline of what we're going to cover this afternoon. And thereafter, I will do a hands-on session. So people might want to follow on their laptops, or they might just want to sit. I know that the session is being recorded, so they will have a takeaway. Okay, I will begin. I will shut down the camera. Okay, and I will have, I'm just going to put it on slide mode. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint presentation. This is the overview of what we're going to cover this afternoon. I have prepared just a purpose statement of what we're going to cover, which you have correctly stated. I am going to show you how to navigate the library website and introduce you to the various links on the library website. I am then going to demonstrate how to access various databases and so that you can be able to do your research and literature reviews. We will identify relevant databases. I will show you how to construct complex searches, and then I will show you later on how to keep up with your searches. Okay. Just for starters, if you're going to be accessing databases from off campus, you will need to have set yourself up on the library platform. So you will need to create an off-campus login. I will share the slide as well as the handout with you. Some of the content is hyperlinked, and here I am providing a how-to guide on how to create your logins for accessing databases off campus. But later on, I will show you how to do that. So this is just a brief outline, and then we'll do the hands-on session. Okay, so you would have noticed that we don't have access to everything that the library should provide. In that case, I will show you how to do interlibrary loans, but that will be later on. You will, of course, need your logins to do this. This is just a brief blurb on who can do interlibrary loans. I just thought I should highlight this content because it's very important. And I'm going to introduce you to RefWorks, which is a reference management tool. The library subscribes to RefWorks, but I do know that at this advanced level, some people have explored other referencing management tools, such as Mendeley and Zotero. I'm going to concentrate on RefWorks because the university subscribes to RefWorks. But if you need to be shown how to use Mendeley and Zotero, then you will need to contact your librarian. For the purposes of this afternoon's workshop, I won't be able to explore all of them. I'll just stick to one reference management tool. Okay, and this is just a blurb on what RefWorks has to offer. So I will show you how to create folders. I will show you how to export from the various databases to RefWorks, and I will show you how to do in-text citation as well as creating your reference list. Okay, and of course, just as a reminder, there are two guides. The first one is a RefWorks guide. That guide shows you how to use RefWorks. And then the second guide is a guide that compares the three referencing tools. If you haven't decided on one, then you can explore which one works best for you. Okay, I'm just going to skip that. Now I'm going to start with showing you how to navigate the library page and point out the various links and content that is important for you. Okay. So I'm just going to move out of now we are on the library page. Okay. I just need to point out, I know that some people know this, but to access the library site on the main university page, on that multicolored ribbon, you just go to the right-hand side of the screen, you click on library, and you land on the library page. If you happen to find yourself on any page other than the main university page or the library page, then you click on the RU icon, land on the main university page, on the multicolored ribbon, go to the library link, and you land on the library page. Okay. And just as an example, just need to show you this. So you would have noticed that responsive web design has been used in constructing the web pages. So the page is configured to fit whatever device you're using, either your smartphone or your tablet. And you will see that everything has fit into the screen. You will use the menu icon to toggle between the various links. Okay, I'm just going to bring up the page. Close that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, as I said earlier, I'm going to introduce you to RefWorks. I need to show you where RefWorks is. So you will need to create an account on RefWorks. On the library page, you will scroll to the bottom of the page. Under quick links, you will go to RefWorks new version. Okay, so I'm signed in. I'm just going to log out. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when you click on RefWorks new version. You're then going to click on create account to create account. You need to use your Rhodes University email address in order to create the account. I am going to share, let me just show you. I am going to share this document with you. This is an outline of how you would create the account, the RefWorks account. I already have an account, so I cannot be able to demonstrate that for you. But there are important how-to guides on this document that I'm going to share with you. And at a later stage, you can use these guides to create your RefWorks account. Okay, because I already have an account, I am going to sign in into my own account. Now that I've signed in, I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to go now to the library page. The first thing that we're going to do on the library page, we are going to do a search on this search all platform. For those people that have used the platform, you would have noticed that we share this platform with 3 other institutions in the Eastern Cape. When you get results on this platform, you'll see results not only for Rhodes University, but all the other institutions as well. I will show you how to limit the results to only see Rhodes University content, and then I will also show you how to export from the Search All platform to RefWorks. The first search that we're going to do is, so you would have noticed if you've used this platform, is that it has a Google-like feature. You just type in your keywords. You don't have to use Boolean operators. I will explain later on what Boolean operators are. And then you click on search. So remember I said that we use the platform with 3 other institutions. On the left-hand side of the screen, this is a breakdown of the institutions that we share the platform with. It's very important that when you reach this page, you select Rhodes University. And the reason for that is you want to gain access to content that belongs to Rhodes University. For example, this ebook here on top. If this ebook belongs to another institution, Rhodes University staff and student will not be access the ebook because it does not belong to Rhodes University. So you need to make sure that you click on that checkbox and you are only left with Rhodes University content. So if I just scroll, okay. There's no ebook here, but don't worry. Later on, I will show you where to find ebooks. Okay, so this is everything that belongs to Rhodes University. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you're using this particular book for your write-up or for your research. Now that you've created an account on RefWorks, you want to save the bibliographic information or the citation on your RefWorks account so that you'll be able to use it when you are doing in-text citation as well as creating your reference list. In order to save the citation on your RefWorks account, you would click on the quotation mark there, cite this item. You're going to click on export as. Because we have a RefWorks account, you are going to send your citation to RefWorks. So it's going to export it to RefWorks. Okay. Once it exports to RefWorks, you are going to click on import. And then you're going to go to your last imported folder. Okay, so this is the citation that we exported from RefWorks. When you are starting out on your account, you will see that if I click on that, you will see that your account will default to normal view. You'll just need to click on that full view so that you see the content. Remember, I said you can group your citations on RefWorks in folders. So if you are in the habit of sending citations to RefWorks, maybe you might want to group them. You might want to group them perhaps for your chapter, a chapter in your thesis, or you might want to create a folder, perhaps if you're publishing a paper, then have a folder for all the citations that you're using for that paper that you're planning on publishing. Okay, so we are going to create now a folder and we are going to give the folder a name. I'm going to use capital budgeting as the name of the folder. So I'm going to go to my folders, click on that drop-down arrow, click on add folder, give the folder a name, and then click save. You will see that the folders you create will be listed in chronological order. They're not listed alphabetically. So the latest folder will be right at the bottom. This is the folder that I've just created. The value inside that folder is 0. So that tells you how many items you have. We have nothing yet because we've just created the folder. You're going to go to your last imported folder. You're going to click on the citation that you just moved to your RefWorks account. And then right on top, you're going to assign the citation to your folder. And you are just going to select the folder. That's the folder. And apply. When I go to my list of folders, there's the capital budgeting folder that I just created. And now I have one item inside that folder. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to create a bibliography. I've selected the item, click on create bibliography, create bibliography. Okay, so it will default to the last output style that I used. But if you are new to RefWorks, the styles will be listed alphabetically. If you need to change a style, you click on the arrow and you just type in the style that you need to change. So let's say you want Harvard, you can type in Harvard and your style changes to Harvard. If you want to toggle back to APA, you just search APA. So we're going to use the 7th edition basic, and you're back on that style. So you will notice that whatever style you have on the web platform, when we look at the Word document on how to insert the in-text citation, you will see that it will default to the style that you have on your web platform. And later on, you can change it, of course, on your Word document. So you can change styles interchangeably. You're not confined to whatever style you created at the very beginning. Okay. I'm just going to move on now. I'm just going to close that. Okay, so I am back on the library page. The next thing that I want to show you, I want to show you where to find electronic theses and dissertations. So we are back on the library page. On the multicolored ribbon, you're going to click on that search button. You click on the search button and you land on this platform. We're going to scroll to the bottom. So this is the link for theses and dissertations. I'm going to click on the theses and dissertations link. Okay, so here at Rhodes, our institutional repository is called the Rhodes Digital Commons. But before we go to the Rhodes Digital Commons, I want to show you at the bottom, these are all the links for all the other institutions within South Africa. So if you want to look at theses and dissertations from other institutions, you would then come to these links. We're not going to explore them now. I trust that you're going to do that at a later stage. We're going to go up and look at Rhodes Digital Commons. Remember, I said we share the platform with other institutions in the Eastern Cape. So you will notice all the other institutions listed on the left-hand side of the screen. Our collection, the Rhodes University collection, will be in the center pane. The collection will be broken down according to faculty as well as department. So the first example that I'm going to look at, I'm just going to, because of the search that I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the pharmacy collection. Okay, so there's RU, Faculty of Pharmacy. I click on the thumbnail. So you see in the search box, it says that I'm searching within pharmacy. And I just type in. So I'm going to be looking at drug delivery systems and search. Okay, so these are all the theses and dissertations in pharmacy under the keyword drug delivery systems. I'm going to click on the first thesis on the thumbnail. So you can see this is the metadata, and there it tells you it's within pharmacy. I click on the thumbnail again, and that's the thesis that you can download. Either save it on your cloud account or save it on your device. Now you can, if you are using thesis for your write-up, you can save this citation on your RefWorks account. I just need to point out that that little button, the Save Citation button on this platform, does not work. So what you have to do is you're going to install that Save to RefWorks plugin, the one that I'm pointing to on the screen. I'm going to show you how to install that plugin. You're going to use the same plugin. So let's say if you're going to be using content from either government websites, or maybe you are looking at the United Nations website, you're going to use that Save to RefWorks if you want to save your citations on your RefWorks account. Now, to show you how to install that Save to RefWorks button on your browser, we are going to go to our RefWorks account. Now, before you save the button, you're going to have to make sure that your bookmark tab is enabled. To enable the bookmark tab, let me just close these extra. Okay, So you're going to go on the free space on your browser. You're going to right click and make sure that the bookmark toolbar has been enabled. So it has been enabled on my browser. So when you are using Mozilla Firefox, this is how you would install the bookmark toolbar, okay, on Mozilla Firefox. Then on your RefWorks account, on the blue ribbon, you're going to click the drop-down arrow next to your name. You're going to go to Tools, and you're going to install that Save to RefWorks on your browser. So you're going to hold that black button, move it up and drop it on your bookmark toolbar. Hold and drop it on your bookmark toolbar. So I have clicked and then save. So do you see that I now have two? I have successfully installed that Save to RefWorks. I now go back to my pieces and I want to save the metadata on my RefWorks account. So it is asking me to sign in. Just do that. For others, it will just automatically open. Not now. So important. This is a thesis and dissertation, but if you look here, it is incorrectly saying journal article. So you have to make sure that before you save to RefWorks, that you are editing the content here, and you will notice that some of the information is missing. So I'm going to click on that drop-down arrow, and then I'm going to click on dissertation thesis. So you make sure that the title is correct, you make sure that the author is correct, you'll see that some of the information is missing. So what you do is you're just going to copy and paste. So from the left-hand side here, so that is your degree type, you go to your, okay, sorry. So it is a master's thesis. You just copy and paste. We're not going to create new information. This also applies for people who are using Mendeley or Zotero. You have to make sure that the information is correct before you save. So it's 2 pages. You don't have to copy and paste the abstract because you don't need it. This is very important that I want to point out. You see the URL. It has taken the URL from the URL bar here on top. You have to make sure that you delete that URL because it is not a persistent link. If you use that URL, you'll find that maybe in 2 weeks' time, it would have changed. Okay, I see that people have questions. Okay, let me just have a look at the questions. Oh, okay, I will repeat this. I will be sending more citations to RefWorks, so I will repeat how to do a bibliography. Yes, I'm also going to show you how to search for articles. So the handout that I've prepared, I'm using this handout as a guide. So I'm going to cover everything from the basic to the advanced. So I'm starting with the basic. If this is basic for you, could you please bear with us? And then when we reach to the content that you would like to see, and then we will cover that content. But I'm going to cover everything. I'm going to cover everything within this 1 hour, 30 minutes. So you don't have to worry about missing anything. Okay. Now back to saving the information. I have removed the URL, and then I want to put in the DOI. The DOI simply means digital object identifier, and that is the persistent link. So I go back to my document. I simply copy the identifier. We are not creating new information. We're just copying and pasting. Okay. You'll see that the institution is blank. You go and you just copy, put it in the institution, the department, and on and on. So the most important information is in the notes part. You can add notes on that box. You don't have to worry about the notes appearing in your citation. The notes are just for your own personal use, or they serve as reminders. Now that all the information is correct and I've added everything that I'm going to need, I click on Save to RefWorks. And I'm going to import the citation. So it's importing the citation to my RefWorks account. It is a bit slow, but we are going to wait for it because I don't want to be jumping all over the show. So we're going to wait for it to save on my RefWorks account. Once it has saved on the RefWorks account, I'm going to repeat how to create a folder. I'm going to repeat how to save your item in that folder. And I'm also going to repeat how to create the bibliography. Okay. So I'm going to view in RefWorks. So it's going back to my RefWorks account. So there is the citation. So you see that it says it's a pieces. All the information is correct. Okay. So in the event that you find that some information is missing on your RefWorks account, you can edit the citation. You just click on that little pencil and you add whatever information is missing. Or if the information is incorrect, you'll just remove whatever is incorrect and place the correct information. Okay, since we are not editing anything, I'm just going to cancel. Now I'm repeating how to create a folder. I'm going to go on the left-hand side of the screen, click on my folders, and I'm going to add the folder. I always use keywords that I used for my search. Remember, creating a folder and assigning a name to the folder, that's for your own personal preference. So on your own individual account, you can use titles of your chapter. You can either say chapter 1, chapter 2, or you can use a paper that you are working on. This is your own personal preference. There's no rule book in what name to give to your folder. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So that already exists. I'm just going to change it a bit, switch it up. Okay. So remember I said the folders are listed they are listed in chronological order and not alphabetically. So the latest folder will be right at the bottom. So you can see that this folder is empty. We're going to go now to our last imported folder where everything is lying. We're going to select the citation that we want to add to the folder that we've just created. You're going to click on Assign Folder. You're going to search for the folder that you've just created. And you are saving your item in that folder. If I go to my list of folders now, you'll see that that folder now has a citation in there. So I go to the folder that I've just created, click the item, create bibliography, click on create bibliography, and there it is. Okay. So you don't have to worry too much about copying and pasting from here because I'm going to show you how to do in-text citation in your Word document. We are just concentrating on saving the citations on your RefWorks account. And then later on, I'll bring up a Word document so that you'll be able to do the in-text citation. Okay. So we have saved the citation in our RefWorks account and created a folder. Okay, so I am moving on. Remember, I showed you how to find thesis and dissertations within Rhodes University. And I also showed you how to find thesis and dissertations from other institutions in South Africa. So now what I want to point out is I want to show you how to find thesis and dissertations internationally. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the library page. I'm going to be repeating some of these steps so that it's easy to remember. So we are back on the library page. On the multicolored ribbon, you're going to click on that search button. You click on the search button and you land on this page. We're going to scroll to the bottom. Now we're going to look at ProQuest dissertations and theses. Okay. We are done with theses and dissertations on the Rhodes Digital Commons. We're now looking on ProQuest dissertations and theses. These are international theses. Okay, I'm just waiting for it. Okay. And we are going to type in. So this is one of those smart databases. We're typing in, I'm using the same keywords as I used earlier. Okay, let me just switch it up. Okay, so we are now on ProQuest and we are looking at international theses and dissertations. Okay, so these are the results. On the left-hand side of the screen, I just need to point out. So you get a breakdown of the institutions that are available internationally. You also get a breakdown according to the country or location. I'm going to click on more. These are all the countries. So we're just going to do, there is South Africa, and there is a total of 111 theses and dissertations. Okay, and to answer one of the questions, ProQuest is one of the databases that Rhodes University subscribes to. On ProQuest, you can find theses and dissertations from international academic institutions. Further on, I'm going to show you how to find electronic books on the same platform that is ProQuest. Okay, but right now we are looking at theses and dissertations from international institutions. Okay, so we selected South Africa. I just need to highlight that not all the theses and dissertations for all the academic institutions within South Africa are uploaded on ProQuest. So you're still going to need to go to the links that I showed you earlier, the individual institutions for South Africa, and look there for, if you're interested in the theses and dissertations for maybe at Stellenbosch, you're going to have to go to the link for Stellenbosch and look for theses and dissertations. What I've noticed is that only Wits, UJ, and UP upload their theses and dissertations on this particular platform, but it is a good resource for theses and dissertations that are available internationally. I was just pointing out the content for South Africa. Again, you can download a thesis. I'm not going to show you how to download. There's the download button. And you can also cite the thesis and dissertation. So you just click on that cite button, just repeating. And because we are moving to RefWorks, you would click on RefWorks. And you would continue. So it's telling us that it is moving the citation to RefWorks. So remember earlier I showed you how to create a folder from scratch. But if in the event you've already created the folder, so remember I used the same keywords. What you do is, so from here, you can select your folder and import. As you're importing, it's going to save your citation in that folder that you created earlier. So yes, I'll click on go to last imported folder because I first need to click on that button before you can go to your folder. So if I go to my folders and I scroll to the bottom, the folder that I created earlier now has 2 citations. So this is the thesis from Rhodes University, And this one is the thesis from that from Wits. This is Wits University. So that's how you would save theses and dissertations. Okay. I'm just checking to see if there are any more questions. Okay, I see that somebody says that they found so many errors on RefWorks. As I said earlier, before you save the metadata on RefWorks, you need to make sure that the information you're sending is correct. You either need to edit the citations, or you need to, if they are missing bits, then you need to add that information. And I also showed you earlier on platforms that you can explore. So you can explore Mendeley, you can explore Zotero to find out which platform works for you. So that's your own personal preference. I'm going to move on. I now want to show you how to find electronic journals that Rhodes University subscribes to. I'm just going to cancel some of these tabs, the ones that are open, and I'm going to move back to the library page. We are now going to look at electronic journals. Okay, on the library page, on the multicolored ribbon, you're going to click on search. And we are going to look at e-journals A to Z. So you will see that the collections are divided up according to discipline as well as sub-disciplines. So these are all the disciplines, okay, and the sub-disciplines. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you are students within the Department of Biochemistry, Microbiology, and Bioinformatics. In order to find your collection, so you're going to go to Biological Sciences, and we are going to click on Biological Sciences, General and Interdisciplinary. And these are all the sub-disciplines. So you'll see bioinformatics on top, and there's biotechnology. If I click on the sub-discipline of biotechnology, these are all the electronic journals that Rhodes University subscribes to under the sub-discipline of biotechnology. If I click on the thumbnail, it will show you all the publications. The latest publication will be in the center pane. You can download a paper, and you can also export the citation to your RefWorks account by clicking on that mortarboard. I'm not going to do that because it's very easy, so I'm not going to explore that. I just need to show you more content on this particular platform. So you can click on the mortarboard to export your citation. So if I go back to that browsing library, and let's say you want to see journal titles under microbiology, we're still going to go to Biological Sciences, and there's the sub-discipline of microbiology. So we're just concentrating on people or students who are in biochemistry, microbiology, or bioinformatics. And there's everything under microbiology as well as the sub-discipline. So if you want to look at journal titles that Rhodes University subscribes to under mycology, you would click on mycology, and these are all the electronic journal titles that RU subscribes to under mycology. Okay, so let me show you the biochemistry collection. I go back to my browsing library, and this is different. So you're going to go to physics, chemistry, and astronomy, the discipline. You're going to click on chemistry, and there's the sub-discipline of biochemistry. So I have shown you how to find electronic journals using disciplines and sub-discipline. So on the black ribbon on top, you see that search button. So here, I will show you how to use keywords. So we're just going to do a keyword search. Not sure if, let me just move. So I want to look at genetics. So I'm typing in genetics, and it's bringing up all the journal titles under the keyword genetics. So the blue is a journal title and the red, that is a subject. So this will have a collection of electronic journals that are within the keyword under genetics. If I just scroll to the bottom, I need to highlight something for you. So do you see these ones that are suppressed? This means that Rhodes University does not have an active subscription. So it means that you're going to have to do an interlibrary loan. But I will show you later on how to do interlibrary loans. Just keep that at the back of your mind, that these ones here on top, we've got access. You can view those. And at the bottom, the ones that we don't have access, if there is an article there that you want, you can do an interlibrary loan for that particular article. Okay, so we have done a search using keywords. We can also do a search for a particular journal title. So let's say we want to look up evolutionary bioinformatics. There's the journal title. You click on that title and it should give you, and there it is, and the latest publication. Okay, I'm just checking to see if there are any questions. Okay, does the institution have a subscription to EndNote? No, we do not. We only subscribe to RefWorks. The library subscribes to RefWorks. But for any software, let me just show you, you would need to have a look at the educational technology website. Okay, let me just quickly go there to address your question. So we are on the main university page. We are on teaching and learning, Churchill, and then you go to EdTech. So this is all the software that Churchill subscribes to, and EndNote is not one of them. Alternatively, you can send them an email. You can send them an email, or you can contact them by telephone. Okay, and the contact details are right over there. Okay. So if there's any software that you want to find out if RU subscribes to, then you just go to the EdTech page. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. So I'm back on the browsing platform. Okay. So furthermore, we are using the web-based platform. Now, what you can do is you have the option of using the web-based platform, or you can download the app on either your smartphone or your tablet, and you would use that little tablet icon to download the browsing platform. So when you download that platform, when you're on campus, you can download a series of articles that you can read offline when you get home on your app or whatever device you're using. Okay. I don't see any questions for this particular. Okay, so someone is asking a question. Can I read my full imported article straight from RefWorks reference list? Okay, so on RefWorks, when you're importing your citations, you will notice that it does not add the PDF document. I know that it adds the PDF document on Mendeley. So Mendeley will add the PDF as well as Zotero. But on RefWorks, you manually have to add the PDF document. Remember, I said you can edit. So in order to add the PDF document, you would have to click on that pencil. When you've downloaded the article, so you can add more fields. This is a dissertation. Okay, so you create, add more fields, and then you upload. You would upload the article and then you would save it. But on RefWorks, it does not upload the article automatically. You would need to add it. So on the attachments, you would click on add. And on your, so let's just say, hypothetically speaking, just looking for a document to add. Okay. Add the article, and it's adding it. Okay, so it's uploading it. Once it has uploaded, you would click on save. It does take a bit of time to upload. I'm not going to wait for it to upload. I will just come back to this. So I don't see any more questions. I'm going to move on. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I'm not going to wait for it to upload. We'll come back to this and see the final product. So now that I've shown you how to find electronic journals here at Rhodes, I showed you how to find them using the discipline and subdisciplines, how to find journals using a keyword search, as well as how to find journals using the title. So if there is a specific title of a journal that you have, you can then search for the title there. And I also showed you that you can download and you can export the citation. So RefWorks, I'm not going to complete the steps, and on it goes. I'm just going to close that. Okay, it's still uploading. So I'm going to move away from this browsing platform, and I now want to show you where to find electronic books. So we're going to move on to finding electronic books. On the library page, on the multicolored ribbon, you're going to click on that search button. I'm repeating the steps so that you remember them. And just below e-journals, you're going to click on online journals, books, and more. Online journals, books, and more. And we are going to search for all the books that RU has bought, all the electronic books. And we are going to do a keyword search. So we are going to look for books on water treatment. Before I carry out the search, I just need to point out, so the search parameters here determine the results that you're going to get. So we're going to say title begins with, do a search, and we have yielded 10 results. We're going to repeat the search and title equals, and we now have 3. And we are going to repeat and say title contains all the words. And we have a total of 78. So I'm just going to show you an example of one of the books. We are going to look at eBook Central. We're going to click on eBook Central. eBook Central also belongs to ProQuest, the database. So we click on the link, eBook Central. So you'll see that the books are divided according to chapters. You can download individual chapters, or you can download the entire book. You can download individual chapters, or you can download the entire book. In order to download the entire book, you will need to sign in. So you're going to have to sign in using your RU credentials. These would be the credentials that you use when you are logging into RU Connected. So it's already remembering that I had signed in earlier, and I click on yes. Okay, now I'm signed in. So there it says sign out. So I click on download book and continue. Okay. So if your laptop does not have Adobe Digital Editions, it's going to prompt you to download the software Adobe Digital Editions so that you can download the entire book. Okay, I leave my laptop at not downloading it so that it can appear when I'm doing workshops so that people can see. So you would click get Adobe Digital Editions. Once you've downloaded Adobe Digital Editions on your laptop or your desktop, you will then be able to download the entire book. Or alternatively, you can just stick to downloading individual chapters. Furthermore, you can also send the citation to RefWorks. So if I click on Cite this book, then I select RefWorks and continue. So it's sending my citation to RefWorks. Okay, I'm going to repeat how to create a folder. Okay, so here, this is the quickest way on how to create a folder. So I'm just going to click in that folder, create a folder, and I give my folder a name. I know that I have this folder existing, and click on create folder, and then import. So it's going to simultaneously import the citation into RefWorks as well as saving it into the new folder that I've just created. That's a step that you have to do. Go to last imported folder. But if you've created the folder, it should be here. It won't allow you to go to your folder before clicking on that go to last imported folder button. So there is your citation. So you import the citation into your RefWorks as well as created the folder at the same time. So for those people who want me to repeat, I'm going to create bibliography, create, and there's the citation. I'm now going to move on. I'm just checking. Okay, there are no more questions. I am going to move on. Just allow me to close some of these tabs. Okay, I don't see any questions. I'm just going to close some of the tabs. Okay, do you see that it's still uploading the PDF? Okay, we're just going to leave it like that. And finally, when it's done uploading, we click on save. Okay, it does take a bit of time. I'm just closing the extra. So we are now back on our library page. I need to introduce you to a different thing. So I'm going to show you your subject guides. Now here at Rhodes, the various faculty librarians have created subject guides for all the subjects that are taught here at Rhodes. And the subject guide will collate all the information resources that you need for your particular subject. Okay, I'm going to click on access your subject guide. It was important for me to point out all the other links on the library page. So I'm going to take you to, I'm just going to choose a guide. So you see that the guides are listed alphabetically. I'm going to choose a guide. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to choose that pharmacy guide. So these are all the information resources that you need for your particular subject. The first thing that I want to show you, so if you've paid a visit to the library, you'll see that we have a reference collection at the various faculty teams. Now, we have a large collection of print encyclopedia as well as dictionaries, but we also have an access to the print. We also have an access to the dictionaries and encyclopedia electronically. So I'm just going to point out where you find. So under the Finding Books and Reference Sources tab on this particular guide, we're going to look at Oxford reference. So let's say you want to look up a definition of a term. Okay, so this is Oxford reference. And the definition that we want to look at biodegradation. So we just need a definition of biodegradation. Oh, okay. That was too fast. Okay. I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to repeat the steps on how we land on Oxford reference. But I am hoping that the recording will show you how to land on Oxford reference, as well as the Word document that I've created. The Word document does have a how-to guide on how to find the various databases. The Word document is also hyperlinked. I know that this is too much information to take in all at once, so I'm not going to leave you hanging. I am going to provide you with these resources, and I'm hoping that that will help you. So you'll have the recording and you'll have the handout to guide you. But for the purposes of this session, I will repeat. So I am going back to the library page. I'm not sure where you want me to start off. So we are back on the library page, and we are going to look at subject guides, because subject guides collate all the information resources that you need for your particular subjects. Now, it doesn't mean that the other links that I showed you are not important. They are very important. And you'll see that I've excluded others. But everything that I'm showing you is very important, especially to get you started off on searching for articles. So we are moving on to subject guides. On the library page, on the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to go to I want to, and you're going to click on Access My Subject Guide. As I said, the guides are listed alphabetically, and we are going to look at the pharmacy guide as an example. So we click on pharmacy. Okay. Now on the pharmacy guide, the information is grouped in these various tabs. So I said that we have a large collection of print encyclopedia as well as dictionaries. So now I want to show you the vast collection of electronic dictionaries as well as encyclopedia that Rhodes University has access to. And I click on that Finding Books and Reference Sources tab. And I'm going to look at Oxford reference as an example. Click on Oxford reference and I land here on the platform. Okay. And I want to have a look at biodegradation, the definition of biodegradation. And I type in the term and I click search. Okay. Now, Oxford reference has a large collection of dictionaries. So you'll see that when we get the results, so you'll see the first result is from a dictionary of construction, surveying, and civil engineering. The following one is the Oxford Companion to the Earth, the Oxford Dictionary of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, and on it goes. The green padlock that tells you that Rhodes University has access to this particular resource. I click on the hyperlinked word biodegradation. This is the definition for biodegradation. Okay. So you can use the definition, but I just need to point out something. You won't be able to use that cite button. That little pencil does not work. You won't be able to use that save to RefWorks button. So if you are using anything from Oxford reference, in order to save it to your RefWorks account, you would have to do it manually. So you would have to click on that add button, click on create reference manually, and you would have to copy and paste from your Oxford reference platform. Just copy and paste. And remember to change it from journal to book and on and on. I'm not going to do it now. I'm hoping that you'll manage to do this on your own time. Okay. I don't see any questions on the platform, so I will move on. The next thing that I want to show you, I'm just going to cancel that. So I'm not going to show you all of these. I'm trusting that you're going to explore them on your own time. As you can see, there's the English dictionary. So I'm trusting that you're going to explore these on your own time. And you will find that on the various subject guides, whether it's a management or an economics guide, there will be resources for that particular subject. Okay. I'm now moving on to databases. So this is where I'm going to show you how to find articles that you need for your literature reviews. So the first database that I want to start off is EBSCOhost. I love using EBSCOhost because it's one of those databases that is becoming a smart database, and I actually use it, you'll see, as a little cheat sheet, and you can use it to get keywords that you can import to other databases. You'll find that when you're doing searches on the databases, some keywords work for some databases, and some keywords do not necessarily work for other databases. So I like using EBSCO to give me a broad range of databases. Now, EBSCO is not a freestanding database, but it is actually an aggregator, which means it has a collection of other databases. So if I click on Academic Search Complete, so we are going to select the databases that we're going to use for our search. Because I'm going to be doing a search in the medical field, I'm going to leave Academic Search Complete because it is a multidisciplinary database. I am going to deselect Business Source Complete, and then I'm going to select Health Source Consumer Edition, Health Source Nursing Academic Edition, and Medline, and select. Okay, so I'm going to click on that advanced search, and I'm going to start typing. So you'll see that as you're busy typing, so I'm looking up patient communication, and the next one is medication adherence. Okay. So I'm using the Boolean operator, and let me just take this opportunity to explain something to you. On the Word document that I'm going to share with you, at the very bottom, the last page, in fact. So this is an example when you're using Boolean operators, and or not. So we're going to start off by using and all the results that we're going to get are going to have the keywords that we connected with, and the results will have all the keywords. If you use or, some of the results will contain all of the keywords, as in the intersecting section there. And some of the results will have either or. So some papers will have, you see that we have the full term as well as the acronym. Some papers will have tuberculosis spelled out in full, and some papers will have TB. And if you're using not, so you are excluding certain papers. So maybe you are looking at pregnancy, not teenagers. So maybe you want pregnancy in maybe geriatric pregnancy, middle-aged women. So the results will exclude pregnancies occurring in teenagers, and will only give you for adults, or even adults in that advanced stage. But we'll play around in the database and you can see what the results look like. Okay, so I'm back and we're leaving it at and you do your search. So we have a total of 1,437. I'm going to go back to that advanced search. So we're playing around with the Boolean operator. So now we are selecting or, and I now have 132,000. We're going back and we are excluding medication adherence. And we now have 71,000. Now remember, at your advanced stage, you need to use the search parameters. So I'm going to go back to that advanced, and we're going to click on the search options. Okay, we're going to start with filters, sorry. So we're going to start with filters. So let's say we don't want articles that are older than 5 years. So we're going to exclude anything that is older than 5 years. On this particular platform, it will have a collection of peer-reviewed and non-peer-reviewed content. The non-peer-reviewed content is not academics. So you have to make sure that you select peer-reviewed so that you have academic content. These would be articles or books that have gone through the peer review system. And then you apply the search. Let's go back and have end. So you apply the search. And we have 509. So let's go back. So if you only want to have full text, you can click that full text parameter. So from 509, it goes down to 171. But you don't have to worry about getting non-full text, because later on I'll show you how to do an interlibrary loan. So even though the library or Rhodes University might not have access to the full text, you can still get the full text if you do an interlibrary loan from other institutions. Okay, so I just need to show you additional. So we are back on, we clicked on the advanced search, and I'm going to have a look at search options now. So let us say, so what we did here was use keywords. So we're going to use that smart text searching. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically speaking, you have already decided on your, your investigation, what you're going to be looking at. And maybe you already have a title for your project or your thesis. What you're going to do is you're not going to use keywords to find, articles. What you're going to do is you're just going to copy and paste that title. It can be a sentence from an article that you read and you think, oh, this is an interesting sentence, and it has all the keywords, and you can copy and paste that sentence. It can be a topic, it can be a title, you just copy and paste. So we're doing a smart text searching. What the database is going to do is it's going to pick up all the keywords that are within that topic or sentence or title, and then it's going to give you articles that apply to that sentence or title. And you'll see that the keywords will be highlighted. Okay. So you don't have to use traditional searching. You can just copy and paste a topic or a title, and it will pick up everything that you need. Okay. I just need to show you something else. So let's say in the event that you are using a key term and you are not yielding results for that key term, maybe, just maybe, within your field, they use a different term. So what we're going to do now, okay, we're going to go to subject. So because of the databases that we selected, we have access to the SORI. So we have access to the Academic Search Complete search subject terms and the Health Source Consumer Edition subjects, as well as the Health Source Nursing Edition subjects. So we're going to have a look. So let's say you were using the keyword patient cooperation. So you're using patient cooperation and you find you are not getting results for patient cooperation. So you do a search. Maybe you want the scientific term to use, or you want the synonym. So it says here, instead of using patient cooperation, use patient compliance. So it's actually giving you additional keywords that you can use. So if some key terms are not yielding results for you, you can use EBSCO to find other key terms that might work for the databases. Okay. And of course, you can export from here to RefWorks. All you do is select the citations, click on that cite icon, then you click on export citation, you select RefWorks, and you import. I'm not going to repeat this step because I'm trusting that you already know. Okay. Oh, okay, sure. I'm going to go back to the database. So the first question is, I've been asked to repeat how I would get or how I would select the databases. So here on top, it tells me which databases I am using, which databases I've searched. I click on the word. So this gives me a list of all the databases. So you can deselect or select a database, deselect. So now we're just left with 2 and select. And there it tells you that you have academic search complete and 1 more, which is that health source edition. So you see that it's repeating the search. And from these 2 databases, I've only yielded 1 result. Okay. So that is how you would select and deselect your databases on EBSCO. And the following question, at what point does one go to the advanced search and use Boolean operators? Again, that is your personal preference. You can leave it at using that single search bar, or you can use the advanced search. I like using the advanced search because it makes it easy for you, where you can toggle between the Boolean operators. So I would say that at this advanced level, maybe you should periodically be using the advanced search. But if you are just doing a simple search, you can leave it in that basic search mode. Again, that is your personal preference. Okay. I don't see any more questions on EBSCO, so I'm trusting that everyone has made sense, and I'm going to move on. And the next database that I'm going to look at, now for the purposes of this 1 hour, 30 minutes, I cannot possibly explore all the databases, so I'm just going to highlight a few. Okay. I'm going to go back to my subject guide. Now, the databases will be on all the subject guides for your individual subjects. So the next one that I want to have a look at is Google Scholar. And I'm choosing Google Scholar because I know that the majority of people use Google Scholar. It's very important, I need to highlight, it's very important that when you're searching on Google Scholar that you go through the library page. You either go through the databases or you go through the links that I showed you earlier, but you have to go through the library website. And the reason for that is you want to pick up all the articles that Rhodes University subscribes to. If you don't go through the library page, then you will not pick up articles that Rhodes University subscribes to. So I'm going to click on Google Scholar, and I'm just going to close that tab. We are landing on Google Scholar, and we are going to do a search. I just need to show you an example. So I just did a simple search on Google Scholar. And of course, you know that you don't have to use Boolean operators on Google Scholar. I just typed in my keywords, and this is very interesting. And then I just yielded 1 result without adding and or not. But hypothetically speaking, it should have worked. And then what I did was I used Boolean operators. So let me just bring up. So on traditional databases, you have to use Boolean operators. This is the handout I'm talking about. So I put the phrase in quotation marks. I use and as a connector. So what I did is I put all the phrases in quotation marks when I was searching on Google Scholar. And then I got a total of 91 results. Remember, I said you have to go through the library page so that you get access to all the content that RU subscribes to. So these are all the links to the articles that RU subscribes to. So if you look carefully on the result, right at the bottom, it says import into RefWorks. Now, what you need to do is you're going to need to set this up on your individual laptops and your desktop. You only need to do this once. So let me just show you how to do that. On the left-hand side of the screen, on the menu icon, you click on the menu and you go to Settings. And under Bibliography Manager, you're going to click on Show Links to Import Citations, and you are going to select RefWorks and save. And then the RefWorks button appears. You're going to click on import into RefWorks, and it's going to save or send your citation to RefWorks. Okay, so I'm looking at the question. It says, when do you use inverted commas when searching? When you are searching in traditional databases, you use the commas, the inverted quotation marks. You use the quotation marks when you are searching for a phrase. And the reason for that is because you are instructing your database that you are actually searching for a phrase. This is the document that I'm going to show. So for the proximity searching, this is health literacy, and you put it in quotation marks. If you're looking up global warming, you would put global warming in quotation marks. If you were looking up, remember the very first search that we did was capital budgeting. If you were using traditional databases, then you would add quotation marks on that capital budgeting, so that the results that you get the articles only contain the phrase that you are looking for. So you are instructing your database that you are searching for a phrase. Okay. I'm done with explaining this. I've been asked to go back to Google Scholar to repeat how to put in that import into RefWorks. So we are back on our Google Scholar page. On the top left-hand side, you click on the menu, you go to settings. Under Bibliography Manager, you go to show links to import citations into. You select RefWorks and you click on save. And that's import into RefWorks button will now be there. You only need to do it once on your laptop or your desktop. If you are using another laptop or a different device, then you would need to repeat this stage. But on your personal devices, you would need to do it only once. Okay, I'm going to rush through because I see that I only have 15 minutes left. I'm going to suspend all the databases. What I want to do now is I want to move on to show you how to keep up with research in your field. So remember, I showed you how to find articles that have already been published. What you want to do is, so these are just an example of 3 databases. You can do it for all the databases that you use. So if you're in economics, you can do it for databases for economics, but I'm going to show you on this particular one. In fact, these are also multidisciplinary databases, so they work across the board. I'm not going to show you all 3 because of time. I'm just going to select one. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a profile or an account on one of the databases. We are then going to do searches, and we are going to save or create alerts. So we are going to start off by doing a simple keyword search, and then we're going to move on to doing a document search for an article. Then I'm going to show you how to search for an author as well as save the author, so that when that particular person publishes a new article, you get an alert that the person has published in your article, or you get alerted to work that they've already published, that paper that they published maybe in 2024 or 2023 has been cited. So this is how you keep up with research in your field. I'm just going to do one for the purposes of time, or else we won't leave here. Okay. We are going to go back now to our subject guide, and we are going to choose Scopus. Okay. Now remember, I used my credentials to log in on 2 other databases. So the platform or my computer is remembering that I had logged in earlier, and I simply go in. So what you're going to do on your own, okay, just wait for the steps. Okay, so it's remembering me. These are my initials. But when you are first signing in, you're going to create an account. So you're going to click on create or register, and then you're going to use your university logins. So you're going to use your institutional logins. You're going to sign in through your institution. Okay. The handout that I'm going to give you has all the steps. So I'm trusting that you're going to be able to follow that handout. But let's just do a search. We're going to start off by doing a keyword search. So we're doing the keyword search, and I'm just going to explain why I've grouped this as it is. So in the first bracket, I have antiretroviral drugs. And you will see that the phrase in one example is hyphenated, while the other one is non-hyphenated. And the reason for that is because when people publish, they will either use the hyphenated or non-hyphenated. So you want to pick up all the articles. And then you'll see that after drug, I've got the asterisk. So instead of typing in drug and drugs, I'm just typing in the root term, and the database will give me results for everything that I need, and on and on. So here you see that I've got synonyms. So there's pH, acidity or alkalinity, and then I do the search. Okay, so these are all the documents that have been published. So what I want to do is I click on Set Search Alert, and it will have the email address that I used when I created my account. In my inbox, it will have the name of the alert as a subject. And this is your own personal preference. You can decide on the frequency. So you can decide if you want to receive alerts weekly, daily, or once a month. And you also decide on the day of the week. And then you create the search alert. And then create search alert. So it's telling me that I've created the alert. Next, I'm going to move on and create an alert for a document. So let's say you're going to meet with your supervisor, and you're going to tell them what project that you are going to do. And they might tell you that, oh, there is maybe a seminal article in that field that you want to investigate. And when they give you that seminal article, what you want to do is you want to create an alert for that paper. And the reason for that is perhaps people might be citing that paper when they are publishing new articles. They would cite that seminal paper. So the new articles would be important for the work that you are doing. So that is how you're keeping up with research. That's another example of how you keep up with research. So this is the article. You see that the article has already been cited 5 times. So this is your seminal paper, hypothetically speaking, the cited article. The 5 are the citing articles. And then you click on Set Citation Alert. So you're going to be alerted when a new publication cites the article. So again, it's going to default to that information, and then you click on Set Alert. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is we are going to create an alert. So maybe you want to create an alert for your supervisor. Okay, so we click on Search, and we are going to go to Authors. So she's a lecturer in economics. And we're going to add Rhodes University as an affiliation, and then search. So she published 1 article. We click Show Documents. So this is the article that she published, and she's already been cited once. So what you want to do is you want to set a search alert. So what you're going to do is you're going to be alerted when she publishes a second and a third article. Then you're going to get an alert that this person has published a new article. Or you're going to be alerted to new citations of her article. So when someone in China publishes a new article and they cite her work, you're going to be alerted to that particular article. And then you click on Set Search Alert. Okay, I already have it. And again, that's your own personal preference on the frequency, and you set the alert. Okay. And then finally, we're going to set an alert for a journal article. Remember, I showed you where to find electronic journal articles that Rhodes University subscribes to. So when you have gone through that list on your own time, you're going to decide on a journal title that deals within your field of research, and you want to keep up with research within that particular publication. So what you want to do is you want to set an alert for that publication. So on this database, I click on sources. So it's going to land me a title. You have the option of searching under subject area, but we have a title. So we are going to look for communications in mathematics and statistics. So we know that that is the journal title that we want to look at. And it is, this is your journal title. You click on the journal title, and then you set document alert. So if this is a monthly publication, next month in April, you are going, in fact, at the end of this month, by this week, you're going to get an email telling you that the April publication has the following table of contents. So you're going to get the table of contents for this publication. The articles within that table of contents will be hyperlinked. So if you're interested in one of the articles, you would click on that article and you land back on this particular database. So this is another example of keeping up with research within your field. So I showed you an example when you know the title, or you can explore titles. So if you click on sources and you come here, let's say you just want to explore titles. So we're typing in African Journal, maybe you want titles. So we're going to select South African Journal of Geology. And you want to create an alert for this particular title. You want to keep up with research that is taking place within this publication. You set the document alert. I suspect that I've created one before, so I'm just going to change the alert name. Again, it defaults to that. It's your own personal preference. You can change that and you set the alert. Now I'm going to go to the top. Next to my name, I click on the bell. So these are all the alerts that I've created. So this is how I'm keeping up with research. But if you happen to set alerts and you decide that the alerts that are coming through your inbox are not relevant, you have the option of either deleting the alert or deactivating the alert or even editing the alert. Okay, so it is taking rather long. Okay, I'm just going to leave it and I'm going to move to something on. I'm looking at the time. I don't want us to be left behind. So the next thing that I want to show you, remember, oh, there it is. So remember I said you can edit the alert. So here with the keywords, you can click on the pencil and you can edit the alert, or you can delete the alert. So let's say you're not interested in editing and you don't want to receive alerts, you can delete the alert. Or you can deactivate the alert. I noticed that for the last 2 weeks, the deactivate button is now missing. So I'm not sure if they're going to add the deactivate button again, or if people now have limited options. So you either edit or you delete the alert. So it's active continuously. In the past, you could deactivate an alert. So if you're not interested to receive alerts maybe for 2 weeks or 3 months, you could deactivate. And then when you're ready to receive alerts, you could deactivate the alert. So there's no way of pausing alerts. Maybe you might need to delete it or just ignore the emails. Okay, let's move on. So I showed you how to save citations or export citations to your RefWorks account. So now we're getting to the meat of the session. So let's say that you are now busy with your writing or your write-up. So what you want to do is all the citations that you saved on your RefWorks account, you want to do an in-text citation. Let's just pretend that you don't have anything. This is your first sentence. So what you want to do is you see that my document already has that RCM, that is the RefWorks Citation Manager. Don't worry. The document that I'm going to share with you, has a guide on how to install that RCM. So don't worry about that. If you can't figure it out on your own, you can come to the library and we'll be able to assist you. So there's the RCM. In order to insert the RCM, you go to Insert. So we're going to install the plugin, the RefWorks Citation Manager on the Word document. So you click on Insert, you go to Get Add-ins, and you search. So we are searching for RefWorks. And there's the RCM plugin, and you click on Add. You can also, if you're going to settle on using Mendeley, you install Mendeley site the same way. Okay, so I've already signed in, so it will ask you to sign in. It will, I'm just going to ignore all of that. So remember on my web-based platform, I had APA. So it remembers that I selected APA. And then here, I'm going to install a citation. So remember again that we had saved our citations in folders. So you can go to the folder and select your citation. But for the purposes of this workshop, I'm just going to select a few and then click Insert Citation. And there are the citations. So I've added the citations. So let us say, so this is your in-text citation here on top. But what you want to do is when you're adding your citations, you also want to format your reference list. So on your document, you see it has been disabled. You want to enable. So you place the cursor where you want to put your references, and there are the references. So as you're busy on top with your in-text citation, so we go back and we add additional citations. You can edit the citations, but because we're running out of time, I'm not going to do that. Then you insert your citation. There are the citations. So when you add your citations in your in-text citations, they also get added on your reference list. Okay. I hope this was okay. I am not going to be able to show you everything, but there is a portion on how to book a study room. This is very important on how to create an account, and I will show you how to do that. I just need to answer this question. So how are you going to add or you want articles across Africa? As I said, on your subject guides, because of time, I'm not able to show you everything. But on the subject guide, there is one particular subject guide. I mean, there is one particular database that you can use for work that is Southern African based. So Sabinet contains all the content for Southern Africa. So you would use Sabinet for articles on Southern Africa. But if you have additional questions that you would like to ask, I would propose that you make contact with your faculty librarian. In the handout, as well as the PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you, there will be contact details for the various faculty librarians. Now, I'm responsible for commerce, pharmacy, and science, but I will give you the contact details for all the other librarians. I know that this was not enough time and I rushed through, but when you contact your faculty librarians, they'll be able to take you through a step-by-step, much slower. And I'm hoping that the recording will help as well as the handouts. Okay, so don't be discouraged by the by the vast amount or the volume of the information? Oh, okay. So I see the answers. It is being recorded and live streamed. Okay. I see that I've gone over time, but if people would like to ask additional questions, I think we can stay on. I'm not sure if the SA2, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
still.
Oh, okay, sure. Thank you. I don't see any more questions. I'm not sure if people want to stay on for additional questions, but I think the 1 hour, 30 minutes was yeah, it was a marathon. And thank you very much. And I will share the resources. Okay. I'm not sure if you're going to stop the recording right now. Okay. I see that we're still live, so if people want to ask additional questions, you still can. I will be directed by Isid. Okay, so she's stopping the live recording. Okay, thank you very much for taking time